Hey guys, welcome back to Cold Coffee Chats. We have part 2 of our episode with Amy, our skincare expert esthetician. She's going to start by answering some listener questions, and then we will make our way to talking about her personal life and raising boys, being a mom, being a wife, all while running businesses and just working her passion. We're so excited for you to hear this part. It is so good. So enjoy and stay tuned. We'd like to take a moment to thank our official podcast sponsor, White House Foods. White House Foods is a family-owned and operated company located in Winchester, Virginia. They are dedicated to making quality apple products with only the best ingredients. Thank you, White House Foods.
One question we got was serum. Morning.
Let's be honest,
night.
it was from our mom, and
mom.
she was calling it serum.
Serum.
I love her. Like,
how long? Yeah, so serum. Do we do it in the morning? Do we do it in the night? Serum is so confusing. How?
Direct quote.
And then how long do I wait to put on my moisturizer after I put serum on?
And or my makeup.
Or my makeup if it's morning.
So depending on what the serum is, would be depending on if you're using it morning and night. So if it's an antioxidant, that's your morning serum. If it's your retinols or your glycolic acid, that's going to just be a nighttime one. So if she has specific serums that she has questions on, I can directly message her on.
Like, why don't you just have, like, Amy probably has written it down before her.
Yes,
I did have a similar question because, like, the skin stuff that I'm using now, it says morning and evening. So then when you do it in the morning, how long? Because, your face is kind of like, not oily, but like.
Right. It's taking a lot on.
Yeah. When do you put your makeup on then?
So I have kind of a routine the way that I do it because I have found, because I use so many steps, like I'm using an antioxidant, I'm using a lipid serum, I'm using a brightener for my pigmentation, I'm using hyaluronic acid, like I'm using an antioxidant, like I'm using all the things, right? And by the time I put my sunscreen on, it's like my skin's like, we can't take it anymore. Like it starts to pill, right? So I usually will, after I certain steps you want to let completely like absorb and kind of dry. And then after I do like my sunscreen, I will like give it a few minutes. Like I'll do something else. Like I'll prep my hair or something, like start putting my rollers in or something just to give it like a second to. So I'd say like maybe like 5 minutes or so. You don't have to wait a ton of time in between steps. But certain products do need to fully penetrate. So
do you put like straight up sunscreen on your face?
Oh, yeah. So not straight up.
You don't use like a concealer with SPF?
Okay. Yes, that is a wonderful question. I get that probably 5 times a day.
It's not dumb.
It's not dumb. I thought you were saying like straight up, like you use sunscreen.
Well,
I see what you're saying.
I do it and then I put my sunscrreen on.
Yes, 1000%.
So you only use sunscreen like that has makeup in it? Like makeup was
like on the daily, like
it's in your moisturizer or your makeup. Yeah.
Yeah.
So a lot of people ask me that same question because they're like, well, I have yes, I have a moisturizer or I have a tinted, foundation or whatever it is. And it has SPF in it. So that could be a 15, that could be a 25. Like, I don't know. Different ones have different percentages. But anytime you're using a product with it in it, it's gonna be diluted because it's not just a sunscreen. So I definitely recommend, and it's usually a chemical sunscreen. So chemical sunscreens absorb into the skin. You want a mineral or physical sunscreen because it's going to sit on top of the skin. It's not going to be absorbed. So it's going to protect against the UVA and the UVB rays. It's also great for like blue light protection. So when people say, oh, I'm not outside, or I'm just driving to work or whatever, you're in the car. Like if you look at probably 90% of the clients that I do treatments on for sunspots, their left side is always going to be way worse than their right side just because of if they drive. If you are looking at your phone, you're in front of the computer.
Like all year long.
All year long. I was never that girl. That's why I have the sun damage that I do.
Your computer can affect?
Oh, yeah, the blue light. Yes, ma'am. Your devices, your phone, all of those things.
It's a good question.
No, they're very, because you're not alone.
Like, doesn't know.
No. And I wouldn't have, I never wore sunscreen. I was like, oh, it's in my foundation,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely, especially if you're doing treatments like laser treatments or BBL, I definitely recommend doing a physical mineral sunscreen. And to find the right one is hard because a lot of people are like, all you pictures that big white nose, when you go to the beach. But we have medical grade skincare products, and then we have medical grade sunscreen. So you want ones that have the zinc and titanium. But a tinted one is great because you don't get that white, like casty, or not casty, what's the word? Like that white hue or cast on your skin where you look like a vampire after you put it on.
Can I ask what brand you use?
Yeah, Skin Better Science is the tinted one I have. We have it. I'll get you. I'll give you a sample today. I'll give Brittany a sample to give to you. So we're gonna see here soon. But I would do, and I love it. I would do. Let's see here, the Skin Better Science one. I love that one. And then if you like in the wintertime and you don't want like something as thick, like that's a 75 SPF. Now, a lot of people think like, gosh, 50, 100, like that's ridiculous. But do you really know what that SPF number means? This is something a lot of people don't know.
You're asking me, so definitely.
Right?
I don't.
It's how long
You don't know? No, I don't know.
that's how long you're protected for. So our SPF 75, it says on the packaging 80 minutes, like every 80 minutes. But yeah, so that's really how long you're really protected for. So that's why reapplying is so big.
Yeah.
Like, now I'll be honest, once I do my makeup and stuff for the day and I'm inside at work, I'm not reapplying all day.
Yeah.
But if I'm at a baseball game or I'm at the beach, like I'm reapplying. And finding a sunscreen that you like and don't mind reapplying is key. Like, so Skin Better is probably our number one. It's called Tone Smart SPF.
So I didn't know why I was reapplying at the beach last year, but I knew I was supposed to.
See?
Hey,
I was just followed the instructions.
and her and was it you and Rachel? You're like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm reapplying.
And that's one of the biggest, like, if you do all the serums and all the products in the world and you're doing everything great, but you don't put sunscreen on, you might as well have just thrown all that in the trash.
So when you know that you're going to be reapplying, do you even put makeup on?
So if I am going to be reapplying, I would do it with our Tone Smart Compact. That's by Skin Better Science. And because it has an antimicrobial sponge in it, and so it doesn't hold bacteria, and you can kind of like do it like you're putting your foundation on, dab it on. Yep. So that's the one I'll use for that. Typically, if I'm like at the beach or something, I'm not wearing makeup. I'm just wearing like a tinted sunscreen. But yeah, and a lot of girls there wear it as their makeup, like because it gets good coverage.
Yeah.
And so it's great.
I really like that one where it doesn't feel like super thick.
Yeah.
And it like matches your skin tone. So it has a technology in it that formulates to your skin tone. So it's one color, like it's one product that I can sell to all my clients.
Yeah.
Which is great. If you were looking for more of like a, not like as heavy of a sunscreen, like a daily one, like I like the SkinCeuticals Daily Brightening one. That's a great one for like, that one is a chemical sunscreen. But I'm a big physical sunscreen gal because of like, I am usually doing the treatments. And if you are investing into your skin and doing these types of things, you have to protect your investment. It's like your insurance policy, you know, should take it full circle.
All those things.
Yeah. It's your number. Like if you're on a deserted island, like that's the one thing you could take. It would be sunscreen for sure.
See?
Yeah.
You're welcome, listener.
That's
That was actually one of the questions. If it wasn't one of the questions that someone asked, but since you started it, if you can only bring 3 skincare products to a deserted island, what would they be? So sunscreen?
Well, for like anybody. And then being on an island, you don't want your retinol because you can burn with that. But I'm taking that step too far.
If you could only have 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would be my antioxidant. So that's going to protect your skin against pollutants, free radicals, ozone, all the things that are causing the aging factors from the environmental factors. So all the things that cause our aging from the environment and the sun. That's your antioxidant. And we have tons of different options depending on like what your skin needs are. So I use one from Is Clinical called Gen XC. It's a great like anti-aging one, great for pigmentation. We have ones for basically all different types of skin types. And then a retinol. So I like the Is Clinical Retinol Plus Emulsion because it's a very hydrating retinol. A lot of people give up on retinol because it makes their skin flaky or irritated, or they purge, which it's doing all the things that it's supposed to do, but it's just like, it's an inconvenient thing, but it's for like the long haul benefit.
Yes. For those who don't know, purge is like when you get like some breakout from something like basically cleaning out your skin.
It is. Yep. It's making the skin kind of get rid of that stuff that's kind of backed up in the skin. So people will give up on it because they're like, it made me break out. Well, it's purging. It's not, there's a difference between reaction to a product and purging. And a lot of the active ingredient products that are like your retinols, which are like your vitamin A's, your vitamin C's, can cause purging because they are very active. Like the active ingredient products are like doing the work type products. So your vitamin A is like your nighttime, your retinol, retinoic acid, your vitamin C is your daytime, and then sunscreen. Those would be my top 3.
What are your thoughts on like viral skincare tips?
So this is a touchy one. So I sometimes see people or have people come in and say, well, I've been doing this because I saw it on TikTok, or this girl's skin was really glowing and she said she used like Gold Bond on her face. And I'm like, it clearly says body cream on it. Do not do that. But people are doing crazy things and they're getting usually paid for that. Like they're, influencers for a reason. And they may not even use it, but they are, getting paid to show these products. And so I feel like younger people they're very impressionable and they think, and not even just younger people, I am too. I see someone on TikTok shop and it's at my door in a few days because I'm like, oh, that's really cool. It's definitely something that I think leave it to the professionals, the people who actually like have gone to school, have educated themselves on skincare. Like, go see your esthetician, your local esthetician. Like, of course, we want you to all come see us at Glow. But like, if you're obviously not from around here, like, go to an esthetician, go to a med spa, and have a consultation and see like what your specific skin needs. Because what's going to work for me isn't going to work for the next person, and vice versa and so on. But I think that just using something because you saw someone else do it is not always the key. I mean, there are so many advertisements for so many different skincare things. People are like, I don't even know where to start. I'm so overwhelmed. So they're just like, oh, let me try this. Let me try that. And especially in the younger generation, I notice like they're coming in and their skin is just so inflamed, so broke out. And it's because they're trying all of these things. So that's annoying to see that, not annoying, but it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Where I do get annoyed is like when I give them like a regimen and they go to try to find it at the drugstore and they want me to know if this is the right things for them. And I'm like, I don't know those ingredients. Like I know what I sell, and not to be like ignorant, but I don't know every skincare, brand out there and what all it does. Like I know what I sell and we research it heavily before bringing it on to see that it's, a good product line.
Yeah.
I saw where someone on, I don't know, TikTok did their skincare routine at night and then they locked it in by putting a layer of Vaseline on top of everything to lock it in. Is that?
Don't do that.
Yeah. I didn't. I
know you did.
But I was like,
you would have asked me first.
I just kind of looked at her and I was like, well, one, like, how does your face not get stuck to your pillow? But maybe.
And then like your hair.
Yeah. So
she's like, and then I lock it all in with a layer of Vaseline, and I was just like, huh. But I didn't try it.
Yeah, don't
I was
do
like, I'm
that.
gonna ask Amy how she feels about Vaseline on the face.
If you need hydration, you use a hyaluronic acid, and then you use a moisturizer on top of it. That moisturizer will lock in that hyaluronic acid. The Vaseline's too occlusive. So you have an injury or you have a sore spot or a wound or something. Yeah, Vaseline, great. But your whole face isn't a wound, and a lot of people get a little black, like a lot of blackheads around the lip area is from using like an occlusive. Like I know this time of year, I'm all about like getting me all of this stuff, right? But your lips get so like reliant on that chapstick or that Vaseline that they will constantly be dry until you keep reapplying. So it's kind of like you have to, they're conditioned to want that. So using like a lip treatment and a lip scrub is going to be more beneficial.
Yes. Did you know that you can get a hydrofacial for your lips?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Amy did one on me one day.
Stop. Oh, so what do you put on your, like, do you have to keep your mouth closed? Or
yeah,
like,
well, yeah. But then we're like kind of pulling out. We're not like.
I'm picturing like the thing that
like
they put at the dentist. Like,
oh, that would probably be really good because we could probably really get in there.
Yeah.
No, you just keep your mouth closed and we just roll it across it so it exfoliates.
How long does it take? Like,
like
super fast.
Yeah, a few minutes. Yeah. And then you go home with like the rest of the vial for like that you can use to. So it's like it takes the dead skin cells off, but it's also infusing like hydrating serums. It's a really easy little like we call them. They're called perks.
Yeah.
So there's like a lip perk, and then there's also an eye perk, which is great. And those are just add-ons to your hydrofacial. Yeah. Like $35-$40.
I've got a gift card I got for Christmas, so I'm like trying to think what I'm going to use it for.
All the things.
Probably not Botox, but maybe.
You should think about getting a monthly subscription, which is my next question.
Yes.
Someone said, can you explain the memberships and like what are they for?
Sure.
And what are the benefits of having a membership?
So if you're someone that's coming in every month, pretty much anyways, getting like whether it be a facial or a hydrofacial, you are going to save money by doing a membership, number one. So it also, I feel like, holds you kind of accountable. Like if you have a a gym membership, like I paid for one for a long time. That was a bad example. But like, let's say you're like a massage, right? You're going to go use that massage typically.
Yeah.
So basically we charge like all of our facials kind of are anywhere from like 95 to 175, depending on what type of facial you're doing. So we kind of took like our like probably most popular ones and at a certain price point to make it like a better overall price point for everyone. And it's $99 a month for our regular facials. And that also gets you 10% off all of our skincare products. So you're getting that monthly membership. You're going to be more inclined to go do it and use it. And then you're also getting the discounted cost on the facial and also the skincare. So that's like our regular facial.
So it doesn't matter. Oh, okay. So there's a list of facials.
Yeah. I think it's like 5 or 6 different ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get the facial every month.
Right. And you get 2 add-ons with your facial. So the add-ons typically, we do like high frequency, gua sha, LED light therapy, microcurrent. Any of those you can get as an add-on. And those are just things to really help even intensify the facial even more. So those two items like are usually I think like a $25 or $30 value. So you're getting, as far as like a facial is concerned, anywhere from $130 to $440 facial for $99.
Okay.
And then we have our hydrofacial membership. So we have different levels. So there's 3 different levels of hydrofacials. There's like your signature, which is like your entry 30-minute one. The deluxe, which includes a booster and LED light. And then the platinum, which includes lymphatic drainage. So if there's a certain hydrofacial that you like, I know it sounds crazy.
I just love it because Mom was talking about how she's due for her lymphatic drainage. I don't know when she's seeing you next, but
Tomorrow.
Like, I do hate that word, lymphatic, but it is so satisfying. It's like a little plunger across your
It's drainage for me. Like,
You know, whatever
I could
works.
feel it in my throat.
Oh, yeah.
Going down. It was so nice. And I was like,
Your mom is such a good advertiser for me. Like,
She really is.
She really, like, people are like, she spoke so highly of you. I'm like, oh, like, she's out there. She's selling it.
She does.
Yeah, but it helps with the like puffiness in the skin.
Yeah.
Lymphatic, cleaning out the toxins.
am I doing any of that with my little gua sha stuff?
Oh yeah,
at home?
for sure, absolutely.
Okay. Like, that was something I saw on TikTok. I hope it's, but I think it was the skincare girl that you told me to follow who did it. Dallas esthetician.
Oh, she's the best.
So
Yeah.
I feel like if she's saying it, it's all right.
Yes, she's like, she's my go-to girl that I'm like, oh, let me see what she's doing over here.
It's a Paige now. She'll like lay in the bed after she gets like her hair brushed before bedtime. And I'm like,
It feels so good though, doesn't it?
yeah, it's going to be so.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
She'll be that little glow girl. But yeah, no, that's great for like contouring and also flushing out the toxins and also like puffiness in the skin.
Real
That's okay.
question.
Mhm.
After you do like a lymphatic drainage or like gua sha, is it normal for like when you sweat like the next day for it to smell bad?
It could be, yeah.
Okay, because when I first started, this was TMI and disgusting, but when I first started doing it, like the first 2 days I did it, those days, I was like, I smell. Like I wasn't even doing anything exercise-wise, but I was like sweating like normal amount of sweat, but it smelled so bad. And I was like, Jason, do not
Your
keep
body's
me
dumping
right
those
now.
toxins.
But I think I am like detoxifying. He
Yeah.
was like, what? And I was like, my sweat smells so bad. And I think it's from that little stone because he was like, wait.
How hard did you go on that thing?
Not that hard, but
Doing your whole body or just
No, I was just like doing my face.
Hashtag
like,
Renaissance.
I told you guys I'm taking my self-care very
love it.
seriously. But so okay, so it was that. I was like, maybe I was just stinky. But it was only like 2 days. And
Yeah.
I was like, so bizarre. And he was like, I didn't need to know.
It's like when you get a massage, like
Yeah.
and they're flushing those toxins. Like that's why I always like drink a lot of water afterwards,
It
because
just goes to show like
Do y'all still do
Paige-
massages? Because
We
I did good for a
don't.
little bit.
yeah, we had a guy who, and I can recommend him to anyone. We had him like twice a month, but it wasn't always consistent
Yeah.
booking for him. So he has a little place downtown on Braddock Street, and he's amazing
Yeah.
for sure. I thought it would take off more because a lot of people would ask about it, but I think when people look at aesthetics, they don't think of a massage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You asked about the memberships, though.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the 3 different packages. That's okay. We have 3 different levels for the hydrofacials, so it saves you a good bit on those. And we have all the pricing on our website too. Like I think for example, the signature one is normally $175. It's $150, and then the deluxe is normally $250. I think it's $225. Like so, there's different. It is on the website the pricing savings, and then you also get the skincare discount on that. And then we have like our VIP elite type memberships where if you're someone who gets injectables, you get like $1 off of Botox, you get like a free chemical peel a year. Like there's other incentives that go with that. And you get a hydrofacial with that. So they're all on the website, different levels. Our most probably popular ones would be like our classic facials and our hydrofacial membership.
And what is your website?
It's glowaestheticscenter.com.
I'll tag it too, or link it. But I think we probably touched on this when you talked about SPF, but someone asked, what is the most important step of skincare?
I would say SPF for sure. Yeah, your sunscreen is going to be, because if you're doing all the other things, they're not going to matter if you're not protecting the skin.
And then it was what SPF should be used daily. And you said like
50 or higher
okay.
would be my recommendation.
Now, what do you guys offer products that would be good for psoriasis or eczema or that are hypoallergenic?
Yes. So we have a couple of different lines. Hydrenity is one of our product lines that is really good for like wound healing. We have like a hyacinth active spray. I don't know if you guys have ever tried that one. It kills like the bacteria, the bad bacteria within like 30 seconds in the skin. It's great like if you're at the gym. It's great for psoriasis, like any type of like wounds that you get on the skin, bug bites, sunburns, cuts, any of those types of things. The eczema, it's great on that. And then the other product through Hydrenity is called the Restorative HA. So that's one we use a lot of times on compromised skin post-procedure. It takes that itch and like it's an anti-inflammatory product. So it's really great for like taking that burn or irritation out of the skin. Unfortunately, like psoriasis is a autoimmune, so there's not like a one like cure thing for it, but you can treat it. We also got a new product line called Epicutis, and that is like a very clean line. So we have a lot of people who, definitely pay attention to that more so now. And that one, each product has maybe no more than like 8 ingredients in it. It's like a very simple, like 3-step process treatment, but the lipid serum and the Hivea cream are super anti-inflammatory. So they're really great for healing and also for eczema and psoriasis.
The one you're talking about, the
Hyacinth active spray.
I'm all the time like the kids get like a rash or any kind of cut. I'm like, come here. And I'm just spraying them. Like,
yes.
What are you doing at the beach? I was spraying their sunburns.
Yes.
Benjamin like came home with like a weird lump. Like I think it was some type of bug bite yesterday. Sprayed him. It was gone this morning.
It's the best stuff.
It was really weird. I'm like, but I'm on my page is like really dry skin, rashy right now. She's probably borderline eczema. And I'm always spraying her. And
use the if you have the restorative,
I do have that too.
Put that on there too. And I can give you a little sample too of the what do you call it? Lipid serum by Epicutis. Put a little bit of that on there as well. It's so soothing for the skin. It's great for any type of like inflammation on the skin.
I feel like Mary Ellen with like my little voice. Like, come here. I
love her.
Like, what?
I know, right? My big Fred Greg wedding, like he puts Windex on everything. Like that's me with hyacinth active spray. They're like, you got a cut? There's some that. You got this? I never forget my dad, like he has his little regimen now because his skin, like he was having like this rash and these breakouts, and it was like the only thing like that would kind of calm his skin down. And so he was spraying it, putting his stuff on it. And then mom had a cancerous spot cut out the other day, and I was like, go get dad's products and put it on there. But I had a actinic keratosis, which is like a precancerous spot, and I had it frozen, and I used that and the restorative every day, and it healed like super quick. And I sent it to the PA, my dermatologist, and I was like, I just want to show you like, how quickly this is. She's like, that's incredible. So she's like, I'll be telling my patients about it. But yeah, it's anything that you have with any type of wounds, like it's great. One all day about it.
So how do you find work-life balance and like balance with being a mom and managing businesses? How do you?
Still working on that.
Still like
it is a work in progress every day. Anytime you're starting like a new venture, I feel like it's like you're very absent, at home. And I was always like, I want to be there for everything for my kids. And when I first got into this, it like, especially like when I was doing like wedding parties and stuff on Saturdays and work, and I was missing like all their Saturday games and stuff. And I was just like, what am I doing this for? Like, I'm doing this because I love it, but I'm also doing this to provide for my kids and give them like, the life that I want them to have, and not have to worry about things with, paying for things themselves as much. I mean, I want them to be independent, but also like not have to struggle with everything. And so I was finding that, like my son would be like, "Where are you coming to this game?" And like the look on his face, like when I was like, "No, I have to work," or, and I do work a lot of Saturdays because that's when a lot of like my people can come in. But then I started like reevaluating some things. I'm like, I at least need to do like every other Saturday or something just because it's not fair. But it's definitely hard because when I'm not at work, like I'm thinking about work or I'm thinking about all the things I need to get done. Or, they always say like, I was looking at a new car and they're like, "This one's self-driving, blah, blah." And PJ's like, "I can see you now with your laptop on your lap as you're driving down the road." Like, because like I can't ever like waste a minute. Like they know when I go get my hair done, I'm going to have my laptop on. And so my lap, and just because I'm always thinking about it. Like it's my baby, right? And it's something like, even though like I have a business partner, like I still, there's a lot of things that like I just like to do, and be I don't know. I'm always thinking of what can I do better? There's always something more to do. And in the treatment room all day, you don't have time to do the admin work. And so a lot of that is after hours. So I'm still working on that. If anyone has any tips that they'd like to share of how to be better at that, because, when I try to be present and, things like I do feel like a big difference. Like my kids are happier, like they want me home, like, and little things will get said sometimes. And I'm just like, ouch, that kind of hurt, like, and it's true. Like, and so when I'll never forget, like Landon was getting ready, my son was getting ready to go to college, and like that whole, like, we just kind of like were at each other constantly. I'm like, what is going on? And Mom's like, it's because like he's getting ready to leave. And like, I think it's anxiety and that type of thing. And he said something one day, like we were having dinner and he was like, it's all we hear about. And like, or it's this or that. And he's like, I just don't want to hear about it anymore. I don't want to, like, cause there's always something that you're like working through or, struggles. And I'm like, you know what? Like it like really upset me, but it was because it was true. And I was like, you know what? I'm not like being a good mom right now. Like, and that really, really like affected me. Like, I'm not listening to like what's going on in your life. Like, I'm just talking about all the things I'm dealing with. And so I really had to try to like reel it in and be like, okay, when I'm home, I'm home. Like, I still struggle with that. But a lot of times, like once everyone's in bed, that's when I'll go get on the computer because I'm in my head, all the things are going on, all the things I need to do. And I'm not like sitting there listening actively when I know all these things are going on in my head. So a lot of it's just like type A control things that I like feel like I need to be doing. And I also feel like I have to do everything. And that's not the case. Like I have to start delegating more. And I'm learning that like it's not worth my time being away from them. Like if I could pay someone to do something, if I can afford to, like it's worth it to me. And so it's definitely a learning curve. I wish I could say like I got it all together and I have it all figured out and dinner's on the table every night by 6:30, but it's not. When the kids were little, it was kind of like PJ was starting more of his insurance career and like really the one that was always at work late. And I would get like frustrated because I'm like, I feel like it's all on me and I'm alone with the kids. And like, I'm like, is he just standing there because he want to deal with toddlers? Like, you start getting like angry and like, yes. And now like that they're older, I feel like they're like more self-sufficient. Like I am able to go and do, more things like for the business. But then at the same token, like this is a time I feel like they really still need you a lot too. Like just when it comes to like all their activities and their sports and the things that they're involved in. So we've kind of flipped roles where like he is the one now taking them to, now that Landon can drive and is in college, but to like taking them to practices and stuff. And like, he'll help with their baseball teams coaching. And I'm like, kind of like, I get like, that's their bond. And I'm like, they're talking about something and I'll say, what's this? And they're like, you don't know, this is baseball stuff or whatever it is. And I'm just like, and they're like involved in the businesses, like a donut shop, Landon works there and Dylan works at the sports car shop. So they talk, those types of things. And so I'm kind of like, I guess I'm chopped liver now, but then if something happens and they're sick or they're injured or, having a bad day, it's mom. So I'm like, okay, they still love me. But yeah, it's
I
definitely.
feel you on like the boy mom thing.
Mhm.
'Cause I feel like that's like your typical boy mom thing. How does faith play a role in how you guys handle business and make business choices?
Definitely. So I'll be honest, like, I mean, I was raised going to church, and then as I got older, like got married, like, my husband was Catholic. I was like Methodist. Like I didn't really know what to do at Catholic church. I'm like, do we stand? Do we kneel? What are we doing right now? Like I was always just so like not knowing what to do. And he was like, and he didn't care about it being the Catholic Church. It could be, whatever. And so we tried a couple of different churches, and then you get busy, you have kids, you have sports, they have games. You can think of every excuse, right? And I don't think I had found my church home. And one of the girls Emily, who works for me, she had kept inviting me to her church. And I was just like, okay, she's asked me enough. She's like, I really, and not that I ever lost my faith. I just think I kind of just got out of that routine. And I didn't feel as close to God, honestly, not being at church. I've always had my faith, but I don't think that I really
A relationship.
correct with God. And it was kind of around the time that my mom was diagnosed with cancer. And, it was always just you never thought that's going to happen. It's just oh, they're going to be here forever. They're not. And it was I don't know, within a week, I guess, of her diagnosis. And she had asked me to go with her to church. And it was Easter Sunday. But we went on a Saturday. And I went and I was just I just felt chills and just what I hadn't felt, I think, really in a long time or maybe even ever. Because I think that I was just at this point, what are you going to do? I can't fix this. I can't work harder. I can't do this, and I need God. And he, I think definitely ever since I've really been going to church all the time. If I can't go, I'm listen to the podcast, or watching online. I found the church that I needed for what worked for me. As far as I remember the message. I take notes. I'm who are you? I was never this girl who took notes in church, but it's oh, that's good. And I'm over here feverishly typing, and I'm I hope no one thinks I'm texting, but everyone always is taking notes usually in there. But I definitely feel it's made a big difference in my life in so many ways, because it's before I would worry and worry and worry about okay, is this going to work? And I'm just now it's I have more peace. I feel I'm going to put this in God's hands. If this is meant to work, I don't think you just put it into God's hands and then, put your feet up. But the worry of things like that. So it's definitely helped me, I think, a lot in my marriage with my kids. Landon loves going, when he's home, a lot of college kids don't want to go to church a lot of times. He's are we going to church? He's got his friends coming with us now. Yeah. And so I definitely feel in the last, it's unfortunate that it took something like that, I feel to get me back in it. But at the end of the day, if that's what it took, not that I wanted her to ever go through that, but it's something that I needed to have faith. And look where she's at now. She's cancer free, and I think you can't explain that.
Yeah.
So for me, I've always based, I've talked to so many people. I feel it's kind of crazy because you're in people's personal space and you get really deep. I know women about their being pregnant before their husbands even do. There's things that you really you become a counselor, and
All the time.
right. And it's but I love it. I've learned so much. You learn about their battles, what's going on in their families, their marriages, their faith, all the things. And, I've really connected with people over we'll start talking about faith. And I'm I've gotten people to come to our church. And I think that that's things that I never in a million years. I don't want to be someone that pushes my stuff on someone, and I don't want someone to push their stuff on me either. But I respect you, and and I'll never be you should do this, you should do that. Because I never wanted someone to be well, you don't have that faith because you don't go to church, or you don't have a good relationship with God. I always have had faith. I just think that it's really intensified my relationship with God. And I think it's interesting how it, but it all correlates. Things just are better, in general, in your life, when you put God first.
And the bad stuff is better. We talk about that a lot too, how there's such a difference between going to church and having faith. But then it's crazy how when you find your home church, when you find your place, how it's so much easier then to realize it's not just about having faith, it's about having a relationship.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think not knowing, I never had read the whole Bible, and I remember as a kid in Bible school and also in Sunday school, learning stories and stuff. But I want to know it. I crave it now. I got this series of books now that are break it down for me, in a spiral notebook. I forget the name of the company, but it's
I've seen those before, like on Instagram.
Yes, that's where I bought it from. And it's like, it has all the different like chapters and like it breaks it into like 5 different notebooks. And it has like places you can write your notes in it. And like, I'll find myself going to like back into my notes from church and like, I'll find that scripture and write what like he was talking about. Like, that was never
Like,
you know,
grieving.
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know how everything, you know, I want to know God. Like, I want to have walk with Jesus. Like, those are all things that like I never would say out loud before because I felt like, you know, people were like, okay, you know, like.
I think too, and it's nothing against like traditional church and probably how we all grew up in church, but it just wasn't that way.
Right.
It just wasn't.
Right.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that did not.
I think it was a great foundation.
It was a great
Absolutely.
foundation. And I think like some people that works so beautifully for them. And I mean, I think like our grandma, like she's a testament to that.
Right.
Like she was probably the most faithful person I've ever known. And that was her home church.
Right.
That's what worked for her.
And we had to get married. To, like, no, we didn't have to, but like, it was like a thing. Like, if you were thinking about getting married, like outside or something, like my mom was not cool with that. Like, she wanted us all to get married in the church. And I'm so glad that we did. Like, that was home,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And it's still like to this day going there for things.
Yes.
But
It brings back so many memories.
yeah.
For you. Yeah. And it's crazy how I love seeing like the younger generation at this church, like, because there's so many young people and it's just like, I wish I had like, you know, was there at that age because I would have done some things differently.
You said that too. Like our kids will never know how lucky they are to be in a church that like worships the way they do.
Yeah.
And, like puts so much passion into like their relationship with God.
Yeah. They look forward to going to church. It's not just like part of the routine. Like,
And like it's so funny to like watch our kids like just be up there like
I love that.
I can't see me, but they got their hands up and they're dancing and they're like so unashamed and just so like
I'm still like
right.
Can't put a hand.
Have you seen those videos where they're like showing different kinds of people? It's like carrying the TV.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, yeah, that's how I don't know why it.
Yeah.
I know you're supposed to raise your hands up to God, but it's like we weren't raised like that. Like it was like if you would have done that,
like making a scene.
Yeah.
But, yeah. But long story longer, like you know, I definitely feel like I connect with people on a whole nother level, like in the treatment room, especially like when we kind of get talking about like faith. And, you know, I've had people like text me, like, you know, that just boosted my spirit so much. And like, that's what I love. Like, you know, or I love that we can talk about our relationship with God or like what we're going through or things like that. And, or like, I'm feeling like he's not listening and, you know, and just being each other's cheerleaders. And,
yeah. We like to finish on, it's just like we're kind of taking a turn here, but your most embarrassing mom moment and your most embarrassing professional moment.
Well, let's see here. Professional moment, I'd say it wasn't really, I think I was embarrassed for the person, but when you go like, you know, anytime you go do something for the first time, like you don't really know what you're supposed to be doing, right? And so, but when you work there, you just assume everyone knows. So like this poor little lady, she came in for her facial for her first time. I didn't know she had never had one before. And, you know, we lay out the spa gown, the draping or whatever. And I'm like, you put this on top, you know, undress to your comfort level, blah, blah, blah. I pulled down the blankets. You know, maybe I didn't fully describe everything the way I should have because I just assumed people know. So I walk in and she's got the draping on like a little lady would wear a sweater and the whole front, everything open. And I'm like, oh, no, let's fix this. Because I didn't know how to wear this thing and like, you know, everything. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, look, guys. So I was trying to like, you know, rearrange her. She didn't care, but I was like embarrassed for her. Like, so I'm just like, oh gosh, you know, like, cover her up. But I'd say that's probably one of the, like, I was more embarrassed. Like, it was me probably blushing because I was like, oh gosh, let's cover you up. For mom, gosh, there's probably a lot. Probably most recently would be I had my mom in the car and my 2 kids, and we were going to Topgolf, and there was a wait, so we went across the street to like One Loudon to like waste some time, and they sent us a text saying your thing's ready, and I was like, so I was rushing to get there because I didn't want to miss our bay, and there are lights in Loudoun County, you know, when they turn yellow, you know, around here, like you got enough time, right? Well, their intersections are like huge, right? So it's yellow and I'm going, and the kids are going, I don't hear them, but apparently they're saying cop, cop, cop. There's literally a cop right next to me. First ticket I've ever had in my life with my mom and my kids in the car. And I knew it. Like, as soon as he pulled me over, I was like, I mean, I'm totally wrong. You know, and I thought, like, so Penny over here says, this is her first ticket, sir. She's never had one. And he's just like, looking at her like, okay, lady, whatever. He's like, license and registration. He's like,
Didn't ask for a character.
I know. He's like, I didn't ask for that. And she's thinking she's going to change his mind. He's like, he said, do you know I pulled your, I said, yes. I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I hate people that do this. And I'm that person right now. And I said, I judge my time, you know, blah, blah, blah. And he comes back with the ticket. And I'm like, cool. And the whole time, like, we're at Topgolf, I'm like stewing because it was like a holiday weekend too. So like, you know, it doubles the fines, I think, or something stupid. And it was just the fact that he's like, well, you have a +5 on your record. So it doesn't affect your points. And I'm like, I know how this works with insurance. They all say this, that it doesn't affect your points. But we don't charge by points. We charge by violations. And now my rate's going to go up. Like, I was like stewing. And Mom's like, are you going to go to court? I'm like, for what? Like, I got 3 people in the car that all saw me do the wrong thing. My kids yelling cop. And you're trying to say that I never had a ticket and get me out of it. But I'm like, no, I'm going to go online right now. I'm going to pay this stupid ticket. But that would probably be, I mean, there's probably a lot more things that I've done way more embarrassing. But I'd say for me, that was very embarrassing. Oh, yeah, it was just a summer, but yeah, it's fine. But yeah, it's fine. The other one would maybe be like when I think PJ had packed our lunch. That's what it was. And we were out of like juice boxes or something. I don't know. And he sent Landon to school with a Diet Coke. And like, they were like, and they like sent a note home like, dear parents, please do not send soda to school with your kids. And I'm like, they took it from him. I'm like, they probably drank it, but the kid didn't even drink Diet Coke. Yeah. And I was like, you know, so I felt like, I was like, fail right there, but that wasn't totally my
One time we ran out of baggies and I sent Ben to school with his snack and breast milk bags.
Oh my gosh, that is
He was
awesome.
like in kindergarten, so I figured like
They don't know.
I wouldn't have done it. But yeah.
They weren't dated or anything, right? Like,
No.
they weren't used.
But I thought, well, you know, it's actually kind of smart to use of these bags.
Yes.
They're a nice size.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us. It's been so fun.
But
A little.
I'm very long to the
was-
bunny trails are real. It happens. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Oh, really quick.
Yeah.
Your socials, website for Glow, all that. You just
So
find you.
yeah, so on Facebook you can find us under Glow Aesthetics. Our Instagram is glow_aesthetics_center. And our website is glowaestheticscenter.com. And phone number is 540-751-8828.
And I'll put all that in the comments too.
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much for listening to part 2. That was so fun. I loved getting to ask all the skincare questions, and just hearing more about Amy's story was so inspiring and just so fun. Thanks for listening as always, and stay tuned for our next episode.
Sponsored by White House Foods, serving generations of consumers since 1908.